Hello everyone! Amongst the datamine models, we have an interesting name pop up. Anduin Lothar, which instantly had lore buffs sit up straight and pay attention. Had people wonder if there's a connection to Anduin Lothar and the Lothar family line. Anduin Rin is actually named after Anduin Lothar, as Lothar was quite the hero amongst the people of Stormwind and for his father Varian. He was there to confront the corrupted Guardian who would open up the Dark Portal and brought the Horde into Azeroth. He was there to guide Varian and the survivors of Stormwind across the sea to Lordaeron, as the Horde had ransacked the city of Stormwind. He was there to help unite the human kingdoms and form the Alliance of Lordaeron, have the world listen to the warnings and fight back against the invading hordes. The Sons of Lothar would name themselves in his honor for his great sacrifice. And he was the one who called upon an ancient pact between the humans and the High Elves to get their aid in the war against the hordes. And while the elves only really sent a token force, thinking the Horde wasn't a massive threat to them, someone like Illyria Windrunner, she was wiser, pledged her full support, especially after the Horde teamed up with the Trolls, started to massacre the elves. This is how she met Cerulean, Khadgar, Kurdran and Trollbane.
My visions are not the same as the others.
So an ancient promise between humans and High Elves. The promise that Anduin Lothar called upon that takes us even further back in time. To the days that the humans were still living in separate tribes and they were warring a lot with each other. But those times would quickly change as Thoradin of Arathor, he could see that the humans, they were strong when working together and they would have to be strong if they wanted to stand a chance against the hostile trolls in the region. By politics, by brute strength, or by accepting religion, Thoradin went around uniting the clans. Their kingdom was named Arathor with a capital of Strom. They became such a powerhouse that when the High Elves fought the Amani Trolls in the so-called Troll Wars, King Anastarian Sunstrider asked the humans for their aid. Now Thoradin, the wise king that he was willing to team up, especially since the Trolls, they were going to be a threat to all of them, but they were going to need more than just their brute strength on the battlefield. So it was that the elves agreed to teach some of the humans their ways of magic. Together, they landed such a devastating blow against the trolls that the Amani trolls, they never really recovered from. Yet for Quel'Thalas and for Arathor, the war was the beginning of a glorious new era. For months after the cessation of the conflict, celebrations graced the streets of Strom and Silvermoon City. The grateful elves pledged their undying loyalty to Arathor and to Thoradin's descendants. That allegiance, that pledge, would carry on through the ages, even as the human kingdom of Arathor would split up and spread out into major cities like Lordaeron, Dalaran, Kal Tiras. The years went on, which brings us back to Anduin Lothar using that old allegiance with the High Elves. But the question then becomes, who is this Anduin Lothar? And at the moment, we don't really know. My guess, my speculation, that would be that she is part of the Arathi that we're going to encounter within Hollowfall. From BlizzCon, as the zone is not available for testing right now, we learned that this group down below, they had a vision in which they learned about a falling star. There's a big old crystal in the roof of Hollowfall which switches between light and dark. The light, it gives vegetation and whatnot a chance to grow this deep down below, but the periods of darkness are becoming longer, giving creatures the opportunity to rise from the waters and become a problem. A falling star in their vision, one that is able to switch between light and darkness, between light and void. It definitely rings like a Naru, but again, time is going to tell. The vision led them here relatively recently, so we don't know how long they've been here, nor do we know how they got here. Was there some sort of time travel shenanigans involved, which would put Farron and the others closer to the early human tribes? Has the light then been sustaining them for centuries, as they've done with Cerulean? Seeing how recently is definitely relative when you compare it to the Irvin that have been here for millennia since the beginning. That's a more difficult route to go, of course, and the only reason I mention it is because they were being quite mysterious during the BlizzCon presentation. Mysterious in the way of they didn't want to spoil it. A more direct connection, there will be somewhere in the Lothar bloodline. Depending on age, maybe even a long-lost child. The family situation surrounding Lothar hasn't really been explored that much, so plenty of opportunity to connect the Lothar bloodline in some way, some form. Now, when thinking about a role to play in the story, we know that there's friction amongst the Arathi. new friends to make, and enemies to take out. At the same time, we also have Anduin, who is dealing with what happened to him in the Shadowlands. Sylvanas forced him to serve the jailer, dominated. He was forced to do things that he never wanted to do.
You will defend Zoval while he completes the ritual.
You mean he will compel me to defend him? Each time he dominates my will, I feel myself slipping further away. Is this what you felt when Arthas raised you, Sylvanas? Hollow, empty, everything you once were, consumed by darkness.
Yes, young lion. But in the end, the sacrifices we've made will have been worth it. Once the cycle of life and death has been broken and remade, we will...
By that time, I'll have been lost. And so will you. I only hope my friends will remember me as I was. Not what you made me to be.
Why are you here, Anduin? Your kingdom and your friends are awaiting your return.
My friends. The ones I almost killed. They believe my hands are clean. But they don't feel clean.
It is perilous to confuse what you are made to do with what you choose to do.
How can I not when it all blurs together? It was so horrific and exhilarating. And it sickens me to think that satisfaction may have been mine.
Ah, so that's why you've come. You fear you might not be who you thought you were.
I'm starting to wonder if I ever knew. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid that if I call on the light, it won't answer. If I've no trust in myself, how can I expect my kingdom to trust me? To put their faith in me when mine has faltered?
Must you bear that weight?
We don't know the full extent of his time with the jailer, but its effects are clear. And as the title of the expansion suggests, we're not just going to be fighting a war within Azeroth itself. We're also going to be fighting with the struggles inside of ourselves. We're going to have to deal with the struggles of our characters on the inside.
The fate of our world rests upon the edge of a knife. And our battle lies deep within.
For Anduin, part of that is his connection to the light and his place in the world. Who better to guide him than these extremely powerful light wielders? A potential relative to his namesake, Anduin Lothar. I'm very excited to see how all of this is going to play out. And now you're up to speed on the Lothar bloodline. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. Ring the bell to be notified. And until next time. See ya!